Okay, hey guys, you are welcome to this edition of today. Today we are talking of on amoebic dysentery. We have to know what really causes amoebic dysentery, the symptoms of the amoebic dysentery, and how we can prevent amoebic dysentery. Then amoebic dysentery is caused by a parasite which is called Entamoeba histolytica. And then let us just briefly see how the life cycle looks like. Now, the alimentary canal of man is of this form. You just sketch.
I run now, so.
Okay, this is how the alimentary canal looks like. Then this Entamoeba histolytica, we can get it from contaminated food substances. Example, let's just take an example like carrot. Then in the food substances that we have, you can find the cyst. Maybe if you use a microscope, we'll find the cyst of Entamoeba histolytica there. And then what happens now? During ingestion, when man consumes the food which is contaminated by the cyst of Entamoeba histolytica, it passes through the esophagus, enters into the stomach. From the stomach, it passes through the small intestine. From the small intestine to the large intestine, and from the large intestine, and then enters now into the large intestine. And then what happens now in the large intestine? In the large intestines now, it passes through the anus, and when man defecates, it still goes out through the feces, and then the cyst of the Entamoeba histolytica is still there. And from here now, if somebody come now, if these feces get contaminate some other food substances, the life cycle of the parasite will continue as we see here. Now, this Entamoeba histolytica is having two forms. We have the invasive and then the non-invasive form. What is the invasive form? In the invasive form, the parasites are capable of migrating from our large intestines and entering into the bloodstream. Now, in the bloodstream, what happens now? Let's say it migrates from this large intestine and enters into the bloodstream. From the bloodstream, it will pass. This is where our lungs are, and then after the lungs, around this area, we have the liver. Now, the cysts will migrate into the liver, some will migrate into the lungs, and then here, some again will migrate into our brain. Now, what will happen when they migrate into the liver? Because now the left side of the liver now to start paining, where we don't start crying of side pain, crying, stomach bite, and all those type of things. Actually, it is the left side of the liver which is being contaminated by this cyst of Entamoeba histolytica, which make us feel the pains. Again, it moves to our lungs, and in the lungs, it can cause breathing difficulties. The other parts that move to the brain can also cause brain failure, like let's say loss of reasoning capacity, intelligence, and all the likes. And then the other part, the non-invasive form, is the one which is responsible for the life cycle, because the non-invasive form is capable of doing what? It slides across the mucous membrane of the small intestine and pass out through feces, and from there, contamination of food substances by disease will continue the life cycle. Now, we have noticed that it is a foodborne disease, so let's say food or waterborne disease. Now, how can we really prevent this contamination? It means that when we want to consume something, when we want to eat something, we really have to make proper care. We really have to wash our hands. We wash the foods that we are eating, and during cooking we have to cook the food well so that we can destroy the cyst of this intermobile histolytica, and we prevent all these diseases. By so doing, we will prevent contamination of this intermobile histolytica. Now, the symptoms of this amoebic dysentery. What will you notice when you are having amoebic dysentery and you go to the toilet? Your stool will contain blood, and sometimes it will contain mucus there, and again you will start having side pain, fever, headache, and all those few diseases that we come now as a symptoms of this intermobile histolytica. And now, the little advice that I can give to our doctors or lab technicians is that when a patient goes to the hospital and complains of this, if they want to make a um, they test an examination on the person's stool, and then they find the blood or the mucus there, that is now the exact sample that they should take and test, because they will contain those cysts of intermobile histolytica. And that is all we have for you for today. Thanks for staying tuned, and we plead on you that you should subscribe to this channel.